If you've ever watched football, you know FIFA. But FIFA isn't just a football organization. It's the company sitting at the center of a machine built from governments, airlines, hotels, sponsors, broadcasters, gambling companies, and billions of fans. Once every 4 years, the whole machine turns on. It's called the World Cup. More than 5 billion people watched the last one. This tournament already broke the all-time attendance record before the final. 1 month. The biggest audience on Earth, and everyone gets paid. Well, almost everyone. Let's follow the money. The first stop is FIFA. Look at their own budget. At the start of this 4-year cycle, FIFA projected $11 billion. The day before the final, their president stood in a Manhattan ballroom and announced the real number, over $15 billion. So where does it all come from? 4 main sources. Broadcast rights, $4.3 billion, by far the biggest slice, and most of it was sold years before kickoff. Then the fans, tickets and hospitality, $3.1 billion. Then the sponsors, Coca-Cola, Visa, Adidas, $2.7 billion. Everything else, licensing, merchandise, just under $1 billion. Together more than 90% of FIFA's revenue. And every cycle, that number gets bigger. Russia, $6.4 billion. Qatar, $7.6, this one, over 15. It didn't just grow. It beat FIFA's own forecast by $4 billion. Part of the reason? Resale. FIFA built its own ticket marketplace. Every time a ticket changed hands, FIFA got paid. 15% from the seller, 15% from the buyer. $30 on every 100. 6 times what it charged in Qatar. Getting paid twice, without adding a single seat. To be fair, some of that money does go back into football. Coaching, youth academies, grassroots development. That part is real. But the World Cup doesn't build itself. The stadiums, the roads, the airports, the police, the security. FIFA doesn't pay for those. FIFA sells the tournament, the host stages it, the host builds everything. Stadiums to FIFA spec, roads to reach them, airports, hotels, fan zones. Then you dress it up, repaint the city, light the landmarks, put police on every corner. Because the whole world is watching, and nothing can go wrong. Hundreds of millions, just on security. All of it out of the host's pocket, not FIFA's. And hosts pay it gladly, because of the dream. Spend a few billion now, earn it back for a generation. Ask Brazil how that aged. 2014, over $3 billion, 12 stadiums. Brasilia, $900 million, the world's second priciest, in a city with no big team. Now a parking lot for buses. Manaus, $300 million, dropped in the Amazon. Crowds of 5,000 in a stadium built for 44. Cuiabá, built, then closed for faults. Squatters moved into the locker rooms. They have a name for these. White elephants, beautiful, ruinously expensive. Useless the day the party leaves. Rio's own mayor said it best. Brazilians got no legacy, just regret. But Brazil at least got the fans. They actually showed up. 2026, 3 countries, the United States, Canada, Mexico. They dodged Brazil's mistake. Barely built a thing, used the stadiums they already had, and it still costs a fortune. The U.S. alone, over $5 billion. North America, more than 12. Washington threw in $625 million just for security. The dream said the fans would pay it all back. The fans didn't come. Not the ones that matter, not the foreign ones, the ones who book hotels and stay 2 weeks. 80% of host city hotels booked below forecast, and the money math turned ugly fast. New York's own comptroller ran the numbers. Even in FIFA's best-case dream, over 1 million visitors, the city would spend more than it made. A loss. On paper. In the good scenario, the stadiums are full. Sure. Record crowds even. Full of locals. Day trippers. In for the match, home by midnight. The seats are packed. The hotels are empty. So the host spent the billions and didn't get the tourists. Which leaves one question. What did they actually get? Not the tourism boom. That much is clear. What the host gets is the picture. 1 month with the whole planet looking at your flag, your skyline, your president at the podium, the biggest stage on earth wearing your name. That's real. Nations have paid billions for exactly that. You just can't pay a stadium loan with it. Oh, and there are perks. Mid-tournament, the American striker gets a red card, automatic ban. So the President of the United States picks up the phone and calls FIFA, personally.
I didn't know what the hell a red card was. When I found out, I said, you got to be kidding.
And FIFA folded. First reversal of its kind at a World Cup in 60 years. Being the landlord has its privileges. They lost the next match anyway, 4-1 to Belgium, knocked out, in their own house. Even the perk didn't pay. So that's the host's return. Prestige, exposure, headlines. Meanwhile, an entirely different industry was having the biggest month in its history. Sports betting. They never built a stadium, never sold a ticket, never hired the police. Yet the World Cup became one of the world's biggest betting events. According to H2 Gambling Capital, around $60 billion would be wagered on this tournament through legal channels alone. $60 billion. That's not FIFA's revenue. That's what people bet. After paying out the winners, the sportsbooks kept about $7.5 billion. From 1 month, FIFA needs 4 years to make 15. In the United States alone, more than $4 billion. 9 times the last World Cup. Football didn't change. Access did. 4 years ago, 19 states. Today, 39. More than double in a single World Cup cycle. The casino didn't disappear. It moved into your pocket. The odds moved into the broadcast, into your phone, into your feed. Betting didn't just become easier. It became part of watching football. So how does a sportsbook make money? Not by picking winners. By taking a small cut from almost every bet. 5, maybe 7 cents on every dollar. The more bets people place, the more the sportsbook earns. That's why they don't stop at the final score. First goal scorer, total corners, yellow cards, same game parlays. One match becomes dozens of bets. The World Cup lasts 1 month. The customers they're hoping to keep last much longer. But sportsbooks weren't the only market growing. Another one was too. Same matches, same outcomes, no bookmaker, and that changed everything. Prediction markets. On the surface, they look almost the same. Pick an outcome, be right, make money. But underneath, they run on a completely different model. There's no bookmaker, no house setting the odds, no one hoping you lose. Just buyers, sellers, and a market connecting the two. You think Argentina wins. Someone else thinks they don't. You each buy one side of the same contract. Whoever's right gets paid by the other. The platform never takes a position. It simply matches the trade and charges a fee. That one difference changes everything. A sportsbook needs state gambling licenses. Prediction markets argue they're something else entirely. Financial exchanges. In the United States, Kalshi doesn't answer to state gambling regulators. It operates under the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, the same federal agency that oversees oil futures, wheat futures, interest rate futures. That opens doors. Sportsbooks still struggle to enter. California, Texas, Florida, some of the biggest markets in America, and the growth followed. Just 2 years ago, prediction markets were barely on the radar. By the World Cup, Kalshi alone traded around $40 billion, nearly the size of every legal sportsbook on Earth, combined. A company almost nobody had heard of had become one of the biggest new businesses surrounding the World Cup, and FIFA noticed. The tournament now has an official prediction market partner, not because it replaced sportsbooks, because it became another marketplace built around the same 90 minutes of football. So, one tournament. Let's count who got paid. FIFA sold the rights, the sponsors, the seats. The host built the stadiums, the roads, the airports, the security. Sportsbooks sold the bets. Prediction markets sold the trades. 4 different businesses, built around the same 90 minutes of football. None of them scored a goal. None of them lifted the trophy. Yet every one of them walked away richer. Spain lifted the trophy. Everyone else went home. But the biggest winners never stepped onto the pitch. Because the World Cup isn't just a football tournament. It's an economy. And in that economy, the businesses built around the game often make more than the people who actually play it.